not want to lose anyone in football, because that is going to put our lovely sport into big disrepute. That is why we've been very, very cautious in managing the whole situation. So COVID-19 is here. It is said now when you are quarantining, you have to sit for 10 days. Why is that? It's because we know that the research has told us that you develop antibodies in 7 to 10 days. So that gives you enough time to actually develop antibodies. And once you have developed antibodies, chances of you infecting the next person are close to none. Hence, now the quarantine period is shorter. So I just want to also deal with the anxiety that some people might say, ish, my colleague had tested positive. How do I know now that I will not get the virus? Now we do not actually retest. After your quarantine period, you don't retest. You don't have to retest anymore. Because yes, you can retest and you can find that you're still positive for the virus, but those are the remnants of the virus, because the virus can't really go out completely within a short space of time. But what we know medically and scientifically, it's that after 10 days time, you cannot infect the next person. But over and above that, we are still taking extra caution. We are still being extra cautious to say, even after 10 days of quarantine, when you still have symptoms, you still need to make sure that we observe the 10-meter social distancing. 2-meter social distancing. You still have to put on your mask. But the most important thing over and above everything is sanitizing. We really need to try, especially when we are in the hotel, try and sanitize. The best way of fighting this invisible monster is when we really sanitize after touching anything. After opening a door, sanitize. And we are trying to also organize the hand sanitizers for you guys, such that whenever you do something, you hold something, then you sanitize. Because we know that the virus can easily be transmitted by holding on to something and then touching your face. And we know that touching your face is a natural, it happens subconsciously. And you touch your face not even thinking. And for that is why it is important to always sanitize at all times. So let's brace ourselves. COVID-19 is here. It's our new normal. But working together, we can conquer. We need to now start living. COVID-19 has severely affected our livelihood. However, your lives are very important. That is why we needed to be cautious and strike a balance between livelihood and the well-being, because without you, then you cannot provide for your family. Without you being healthy and strong, then unfortunately your livelihood would be affected severely. That is why we needed to keep this balance. With that brief, ladies and gentlemen, I'll then take questions through the chair, Mr. Ngame. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Colleagues, you're free to ask questions, but our request is that perhaps for this session, let's focus on the health-related matters. We will deal with the migration to the biobubble later on, and all other matters related to that. For now, you can ask matters related to health. Now, here's a request. We are opening this session to the match officials. Our colleagues from the media houses will have their own session with Dr. Gwenya immediately after this. Is that okay, brother? All right.
So does that mean we cannot record this one?
No,
Okay.
You can record the question and answer session, but your own Q&A will be after. Because we know we're interested in different matters and not what you were saying now about. Okay, we can start. We'll take 3 at a time. One big, and any other? Okay, for now those are the only 2 questions we have. Start with.
You mentioned that the next tells me that I'm on the positive side. So does that mean I will be excused from the camp, or I will be put aside for some time, for that 10 days, then come back to join after I infected? That's the first question we have. The second one is on sanitizing. Our bodies, they are, some of us, maybe 1 week, you sanitize and there's this alcohol, this sanitizer. Now you sanitize and at the same time it goes through your nose.
Yeah.
And it affects you. So now you look like a person who's with the flu, or a person who's been now on a COVID-19 virus situation. So how clear you get as doctors as to identify this is flu, this is COVID-19 virus? That's the second one.
Okay. Can I?
Just before
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I have 3 questions now. The fourth one.
Sure.
I'll start with the fourth one. It is said that when someone is 60 years, it's high risk. Referees, we are 47, but our match commissioners are more than 60 are they going to be part, or is there, from medical perspective, are you going to exclude the over 60 and go younger, which will work for us because we are about to retire? That's the first one. Second one is the staff that we staying with at the hotel, the road load staff. I don't know whether they are going home, but some I only saw them today. Is that not a risk for them to go home, come back, or they should also stay with us? The next one is, how often should screening be done? Is it every day, or because we done screening when we arrive? Yesterday we done the testing, but today we never did screening. So clarity on that. The last question is, like Tando has said, our bodies are, is there anything that Safa can provide to boost our immune system so that we are strong?
Wow.
Because we just drink water only. So if there's, at my work they gave me some certain tablets to boost the immune, vitamin C something. So is there really something like that that can boost so that, we need to be boosted? Thank you.
Okay, let me answer part of the first question, because it's something I was dealing with that Doc was not involved in. If in our group here, someone tests positive, we are going to have an interview with that person, Dr. Mweni, and the options are, if the person says, I live in Johannesburg, I can go home and quarantine at home, then we'll consider that option. Secondly, the person says, I am from out of town, as you were saying, we will consider placing you at the National Technical Center of Safa for the 10-day period, so that you don't put others at risk while you are traveling, right? And also that you are then immediately available after your recovery period. This option of the National Technical Center is also available for the colleagues who are based in Joburg. We have not made the final determination yet. It is something that we are resolving now, but the facility is ready. So what we've done is that there is a wing here at this hotel that we have reserved for that purpose, just in case someone says, I'm not feeling well, I'm feverish or anything like that. From Thursday already, we've had those rooms on standby. So between that option, up to Monday, of course, when we are expected to check out, and the National Technical Center, we will then make a determination depending on each person's circumstances on what to do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Damlu. I just want to echo what you have just said. The latter one is the most viable given the time that we have. The latter one being the wing that we have reserved, because now the plan is that after here, we are going straight to the bio bubble. So we do not want perhaps also, because that option, that first option, it was part of the options that we had. But now, because now we are now pressed for time, the isolation would be done in almost in the same facility, but on the other wing. However, we have also said that going home might again be another risk, because now you will be meeting with people there, and so that is why the most viable one, given the time frame that we have now, it's actually isolating here. We have arranged that, it's in place. You don't have to go home. I forgot. I forgot the one. It was talking about sanitizing, ne? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You may not see me physically here. However, the people who are responsible for the referees are always in communication with me. In case there's flu-like symptoms, you need to actually be seen by a doctor. We have made the provision. I'm the one that is going to be actually seeing you guys, especially here in this first camp before you go to the bio bubble. But in the bio bubble, we have agreed with NSL that there's still going to be doctors solely responsible for the match officials. Not one, but two, I think, responsible for the match officials. And that then is going to be taken care of. And as a doctor, when you come to me and having a consultation, I'm also going to examine you. Now, when examining you, that's when then I'll pick up if this is normal cold or normal flu, or this is related to COVID-19, and then we'll deal with that matter at that time. Colleague, about the issue of 60 years or 65 years, the protocol talks about 60 years. If you check, apart from us as officials, from you guys as match officials, there's also, and commissioners, there's also the issue of coaches also. So what we have said is that when we looked at this matter with the other doctors that were sitting in the panel putting together this document, we had said we have to give the people who are elderly extra care and extra so that in fact the plan was that we need to see them on a daily basis. The doctor that is there has to see them on a daily basis, just to touch base, to check, are you fine? Is there anything? Because once you start picking up any symptoms, any of the symptoms, then we need to really medically and thoroughly medically examine you, so that we pick up if you are really getting worse, or it's just mild symptoms, or it's just mild flu. So that is why we'll have a doctor that is there stationed solely for that reason. In terms of screening daily, we are in a pre-camp. Screening daily is supposed to be done. I'll take the blame for it. I didn't organize properly or adequately. It's supposed to be done on a daily basis. You're supposed to be checked temperature on a daily basis. When you come down for breakfast, you need to be checked for temperature, and you need to also be checked if you have developed any of those symptoms. It's another way of monitoring the system and making sure that we don't have an outbreak. So I'll take that as a lapse from me, and I'll take the responsibility from there for that. Yeah, we'll fix that. And then in terms of boosting the immune system, you know, if you eat properly and taking the good, very good nutrition, your immune system should be fine. But now we are in a different situation. Again, we have never spoken about this issue of getting immunoboosters, but it is something that we really need to seriously consider. I'll take it now and I'll discuss with Safa management to see if we can really organize something like that, because that will be of great benefit, because to fight this virus, you need a strong immune system. That is why we say people must go sit at home and rest, because we are highly dependent on the immune system, not because there's no treatment for this virus. There's no vaccination for this virus. So we are dependent on the immune system. So when we boost the immune system, then it will be of great benefit. So that point is a fair point, and it's a very, very good point, and I'm going to raise it with Safa management. And then, what was the stuff? Oh, yes. The document, when you talk about the BioSafe bubble, it talks about staff having to remain there and be part of everything. However, because here we are in a pre-camp, we did not arrange such. But what we have arranged is that we should limit interaction between the staff of this hotel and you guys. So there shouldn't really be a contact between the staff and you guys. That is why with the food as well, it's pre-packed, such that they put it there. They don't have to serve you, so you have to really serve yourself. So we have looked into that, and over and above that, when they come in, Bona, the staff, they are screened. As you can see, I was also screened as I was coming in. So everyone that comes in is actually screened. So the issue of them staying here hasn't been arranged. It's arranged for the bio bubble that we are actually going to. Thank you.
You may have noticed that they do not clean every day. We checked in on Thursday, and they're only arriving today. And then they'll be leaving again, and most likely come back on Tuesday. Any other questions? Well, it looks like that's it for you. We can now hand over to the Refuge Department. Colleagues from media houses, I'm not sure if this usually does not, it's usually not a matter of interest for you. Offside, substitutions and those things. So we can do the interview with Dr. Mwenye outside, if that's okay. Right? Okay.
Is it possible he can answer some questions here quickly?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just for the sake of
It's fine.
No
live
problem.
TV.
No
Okay.
problem, we can do that.
We can do it, it's fine.
No problem, we can do that.
Okay. Okay, Tulani.
Yes, please.
I just want to know, with this pre-camp,
Just
does
remind us to look for,
pardon?
remind us the name in media.
Oh, Benjamin, you from Africa. Just want to know, with this pre-camp, Tulani, does it now mean we are definite with the date of the resumption? I mean, that's all we want to know. That's all what the fans want to know. When is football resuming? And I'm asking you this as a compliance officer as well. I know we were told to ask health matters, but Safa has previously made it clear that they were not part of choosing Gauteng as the bio bubble, or whatever it's properly called. It gives a sense of, if it were up to you, it would be somewhere else as the association and as the compliance officer. Is that the case, and where would that be?
Okay, thank you. Let me just answer those two questions. I'll start with the last one, Benji. Choosing a venue and being Safa, being the compliance officer. Indeed, it's true that perhaps if we were part of the decision to make how to choose the venue, would have maybe emphasized what the JLC document is saying, because the JLC document is talking about the area not being an epicenter or not being a hotspot. However, from what we received from our colleagues at the NSL side is that choosing of the venue was done before Gauteng was an epicenter. So those logistics were finalized back then. And then, unfortunately, then Gauteng picked up. Now, the comfort that we get from this whole situation is that going to the biological safe environment, we are eliminating, because you would know that according to the World Health Organization, the virus is still not yet endorsed as airborne. So it's through contact. So we get confidence in the fact that when we go to this biological safe environment, it is proposed to be an area that is COVID-free, and people who are going in would have been tested twice, would have been screened. And if you get there, chances of you having the virus are very, very minimal. In medicine, we don't say there are 100%, there's 100% chances of you not getting a virus, but they are very, very minimal. So because that is why now, as Safa, we also emphasizing critically the issue of compliance. Because should we then have a gap in terms of compliance, then we are opening ourselves up for then having this COVID outbreak in our biological bubble. So yes, it's true that perhaps we would have tried to speak on this view of saying the document is saying that the area must be not a hotspot, and it must not be an epicenter. But now we are in a situation where it has been done, and a lot of work has been put actually to put this thing together. It is not easy to put this thing together, but as health people, as compliance officers as well, from the health side, we are really emphasizing on the issue, and the issue that we need to make sure that everyone that goes into the bubble is free of COVID. And if they are free of COVID, then we can play nicely, and chances of us having a case or an outbreak is very, very minimal. So that's that, Benji. And in terms of this pre-camp that we are having right now, definite date, Safa has made a proposal to NSL to say it's the 1st of August. That we haven't received confirmation as yet, because remember the Board of Governors was supposed to meet on Friday, and unfortunately it has been moved to Monday. So the confirmation will get then. But having said that, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to sit and wait up until the date is confirmed. We need to start preparing, because we know that the games are going to happen. And we need to make sure that when the games are eventually taking place, it finds us ready. We must not be hasty, and we must avoid a situation where we are doing things rush in 5 days, and that then will make us to be disorientated in terms of planning. Just imagine now having to wait until Monday, and you have like 5 days of preparation, and the referees, technical people that have to prepare the match officials have got limited time. Then we'll have issues of overloading, and we'll have issues of unnecessary injuries, because we'll be preparing in a short space of time, and that will have a direct effect on the games when they eventually start. So now we have started, we are preparing up until the resumption date, and we are confident that the date will come, and we do not know what will be the outcome, but we are confident that the date will come. Hence the process has started.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, President.
From ENCA, just on the date situation, how realistic is it? How realistic would it be then to say that things will be finalized and ready by next week Saturday? And also, you have a date in mind for when you plan to enter the bio bubble?
Okay. Can I just take it as and when? Can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
In terms of it being realistic, now that we have started and teams have started preparing, we are told that teams have started preparing, then it is very realistic that we might play if everything is, because now we have started preparing. We should, now that we have started, we should have match officials ready to officiate on Saturday next week if njengoba siqalile nje. Yeah, so if we follow this same pattern that we have started, and I'm sure my colleagues here that are preferring the match officials are also confident that by next week Saturday we will be ready. And going to the bio bubble, we will go into the bio bubble 2 days before the actual starting date. So that's what the JLC document is talking about, 2 days before the actual starting date.
I've realized that referees are not full-time professionals with South African Football Association. Some of them are teachers, some of them work in companies, others are self-employed. And now it's not usual that they get to be kept in one place for this long with regards to this pre-camp and the bubble itself when it happened. Is there any financial arrangement that Safa has? Because if I lose my 10 rand from Shabalala Enterprises to come and be here for 2 days, is that something that we will not see popping up, that referees say these guys took us into camp and we were never compensated?
Temba, the way we approach that is individual confirmations from the match official. So we call up the match official, and then they would respond and say, these are my circumstances. By and large, people request a letter of release from their workplaces, and then Safa would arrange the letter of release and confirm what functions and period, most likely, the referee would be needed for. So we have not had any request for financial compensation. We've also not considered that matter, but what we do is respond to each person's request and special circumstances. And for now, all we've been doing is to process a request for the release letter at the workplace, and we will continue to do so as people indicate to us the dynamics of each work environment. Please. Sure.
And then just in terms of the logistics of the whole thing, I can ask you that, right? Yeah. How many, do you have the results for all the clubs as well and all their officials? And will they also be tested, that second round of testing, will that also happen just before they enter the fire bubble? How are you managing the bigger logistics of this? And also around transparency, we kind of know that there are tests being done, but clubs are not releasing the results. Safa and the PSL are also not releasing the results. Is there no way of kind of streamlining that process, just so we know that it is happening, these are the results? Because at the moment there's a lot of secrecy sometimes around the results.
Okay. The document is clear that everyone has to be tested and tested twice before they go to the bio bubble. Now, I want to be confident. I'd want to believe that the NSL, my colleagues, the NSL compliance officers, in fact, they've told us that the clubs that are training have actually complied. For now, we believe, because they are colleagues and we've got good faith, and one of them is a doctor, made an oath. We do not believe that maybe they'll give us false information. The only outstanding thing is for us to go and get to see those documents so that we can actually, but that part, our colleagues has told us, confidently so with Mr. Ngami, to say the teams have complied. And in terms of the testing, that's again another issue, and actually taking out results, that's again another issue that we need to finalize with our fellow compliance officers, because you'd understand that I cannot, as a doctor, I cannot come out that I've tested a number of people at South African Football Association, and Namhla Mphelo, I'm saying it publicly without getting consent from her, has tested positive. That you cannot do. You need written consent. But what you can do is that at Safa, we had 5 people that tested positive. that then you can do, because this becomes a public health issue. So it is important to be transparent, and that will also help us. It will help the people out there to gain confidence in the whole process, to say, yes, we're expecting people to test positive, because I mean, we are not living in another planet as officials and as players. We are all living in South Africa. For the fact that we've got so many people getting infected, it equally means that we are also actually affected by the same situation. So, but the confidence that I have is that as much as there's some cases that are positive, but it seems as if most of the people tested negative, it means that then they were following the protocols. But I'm saying that from what I was told by my colleagues, we still need to really confirm that process. But I'm hoping it's not going to take a lot of time. Within a day, we should be, in fact, few hours, we should be done with the process. Hence, we are very confident that we're going to start very, very soon. Benji.
Just one more, just follow up to my earlier question.
Yes, Benji.
Sorry, is there... Okay, how do I phrase it? There seems to be a lot of tiptoeing from the association around the PSL. There's so many proposals that are going back and forth. PSL proposing the 14th of July, and then now the association is proposing the 1st of August, which needs to be discussed by the Board of Governors of the NSL on Monday, and there's postponements and all of that. Is there no way, or why isn't there a directive from the association as the custodian of football in this country that we are starting football tomorrow and that's it?
Okay.
That would be impractical actually, because even if you issue the directive, you need to have the clubs ready, right? And therefore, we don't see any point in imposing a date when we don't have confirmation from the league of their state of readiness. And in any case, as Dr. Manya is saying, we still need to have this meeting of compliance officers where we will take off. So,
but the PSL actually wanted it earlier. How can they not be ready on the 1st of August when they wanted it on the 14th of July?
We can only confine ourselves to what we have said to the league, and let the league then clarify the issue with regards to the 18th. Unfortunately, we're constrained. We can't comment on that. We have committed to the 1st of August. We've informed FIFA that we're likely to finish in the 2nd week of September, which is the 6 weeks that were originally agreed to with the league. And we can only confine ourselves to that position as the association. Sean, you want to be the last one to comment on the last session?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are the right people to answer this, but are you hoping that in this week, Safa and the PSL or the NSL will be able to find common ground, given that there's been this back and forth that's been going on for so long about the start date?
We expect feedback on Monday, immediately after the meeting of the Board of Governors. We expect feedback.
Yeah.
Looks like that's it. Am I right? Okay, colleagues, this brings us to the end of this session that concerns Dr. Ngwenya and myself. We now hand over to you guys for the closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, morning ladies and gentlemen.